Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, Danae, and I'm here with a message for you. Happy Saturday to you. It's April 13th, 2024. Sunny skies, well, blue skies, very windy. Pretty sunny for the most part, but very windy where I am today, like aggressively windy. But a quite peaceful Saturday, just the way I like it for the most part. But I hope you are doing something exciting or actually doing whatever it is you want to be doing on a Saturday, right? At your own will. Let's get one more cut and see what we got here. I'm not going to be long today if I can help it. Oh, Four of Wands. Okay. That's stability. That came up yesterday too in the spread. Harmony, balance within the home or establishment. I guess an ode to my to my, pardon me, peaceful Saturday. Fairness, equality within an establishment. If it's not like the physical home or just like the foundation that you are constructing for yourself professionally, personally, creatively. It's just like all systems are harmonious in this picture after some time and consideration, maybe even some great challenge, but everything has equaled out to a place where everybody is winning. That's the premise of the Four of Wands. And I'm not even gonna stretch it too hard today. Let's just get a few cards on the board and then see what's next. See what's what, I guess. Okay. Queen of Wands. Balancing, managing, definitely contributing to the idea of stabilizing something or having had some great challenge in one way, shape, or form, and it has equalized. Now this is wand energy, this is pentacles, so this is in passion and confidence and creativity and power. This is more energy and material. I mean, the Queen of Wands is in an empowered position to be an impactful contributor to whatever this establishment is, whether it is creating balance in the home or, like I said, building a foundation, a business. But what's here with the Two of Pentacles? Maybe the management aspect of it, being more confident in managing your power, maybe delegating some tasks, or I don't know. This is kind of throwing me off for a bit because these are strong with the Four of Wands and the Queen of Wands. But by way of the Two of Pentacles, it's either this is either I would have to say it can't be the aftermath if this is what's on the board, so maybe it's the come from. So someone once maybe struggled with their confidence, I would say self-esteem, stability, if maybe even on a practical sense, had a great deal of vision for how they would want to bring something to life, whether it be the most ideal home situation or partnership or whatever it is that someone has been invested into creatively. Maybe they didn't always have the resources to back the vision. So let's see what else is over here. What's she looking at? Maybe that was the challenge. Betrayal and sabotage. Maybe on account of betrayal and sabotage, interference with someone's creative ability or capacity by way of their resources. So this could be someone that's had all the facility in the world to create the life of their desires and would have had rights and access to it without interference or without sabotage, without betrayal, but somebody had to imbalance in that regard. Interference, interjection, blockages, maybe hidden enemies, like I said, sabotage, having to balance those elements while still kind of maintaining the vision. It's like having a magic wand in your hand, but not understanding why it's not working, you know? And it's like, little did you know, somebody like, I don't know, put a hex on it or something, or dipped it in water. You know, I'm saying this very fantastically, but it's because what I'm picking up is that somebody left to their own devices would have had no resistance or struggle creating whatever they set their sights on. But there was some underhanded interference. And that's what has been the hindrance. That's why that Two of Pentacles didn't make sense to me. Like, well, why would there be a struggle with someone that has so much manifestation power, so much creativity, ambition, drive, confidence, courage, and, you know, is looking forward to building something that is productive? So the only sabotage there could be would have to be from, you know, forces that are jealous or that stand to somehow lose on account of someone else's gain. And so that's the reason for the betrayal or the sabotage. What's on the bottom? I didn't even, yeah. Or feeling entitled to someone else's energy or it feels more intrusive and entitled, that they may feel like competition, maybe even, and not wanting someone to reach their fullest potential before they do, or without them, or with, you know, disconnected from them, or without them being able to benefit from it. Who knows why people do the things that they do, really and truly, but in some fit of rage, of entitlement, and anger or resistance, or I don't know. Let's see what's on the other side. It didn't stunt the vision for someone. That's the magnificence of the Queen of Wands. It's like, even with the imbalance with that Two of Pentacles, of maybe not always having the resources or the support or even the energy to, you know, because it could become pretty tiresome just to uphold a vision of something that you should be able to acquire or obtain. otherwise, and it doesn't even make sense. Why not? It's like someone that has grand ideas to establish a business, an entrepreneur. It could be some, a Queen of Wands energy, very driven and self-starter, all that good stuff. So it could be you do all the legwork and you put in all the work and time and effort to manifest that vision by your desirable specifications, and then here comes somebody that either poaches your idea and repurposes it, or secretly is like bad mouthing your brand, or leaving bad reviews, or making comments that are defaming comments. That's what I'm getting to, particularly because this is communication. So even maybe just outright lying, about what you do, how you do it, your competency, the quality of whatever you're building, or even just you, the nature of you at being a confident, courageous woman, and attaching some negative stigma. Oh, particularly, especially if it's about like blemishes on the potential for partnership, which has been coming up a lot. Somebody out here just like making you out to be a hoe, or somebody that's not a reliable partner, or a trustworthy partner. And it's like all defaming. It's not real, or it's deflected energy from maybe what they do, or what they just want people to believe of you at your worst, so that you can't be as attractive again, back to that magneticism, so that it almost repels opportunities from you to grow or to partner up, whether it be professionally, platonically, or intimately. It kind of puts this like negative light around you, or stigma around you, where it's like the Queen of Wands is amazing. Partnership, marriage, business, harmony and balance, whatever it is at her will should be obtainable. But lo and behold, there's an energy working against that magneticism, almost like creating, diffusing that charge in some way, shape, or form. So people either see you as just untrustworthy, unreliable, or as some type of like, I don't know, like not stigma, but what's that word that I just heard? It was something like some type of plague or something. Like if they get close to you, I don't know. I don't even know why that's coming up. That's strange. Like if there's something contagious about you or something. Oh, no way. Hold up. Sometimes I gotta talk myself through it and it comes out, but not somebody lying on your loins. That's the ultimate betrayal, especially for an attractive woman. That's why it's coming slow, but it's like, really? So it could be somebody literally out here spreading lies and fabrications about your personal health. Simply put, as primitive as that. Somebody saying, because wands are sexual energy or sensual energy, potentially, not exclusively, but potentially. And with this betrayal card here and how it's kind of bubbling up to the surface, and then, as I'm saying, putting a blemish on your potential for connection in every way, shape, or form, and then the plague coming up. Like I feel what I feel before I always have the words to say it, but yeah, it's like somebody putting the cooties on you, that bubble around you, like you don't want to mess with her, or you might come up sick, like, wow, that's something else. That is really something else. Let me get another one over here. Wow. Whatever it is, it's done. It's probably revealed itself or backfired in some way with the Ten of Swords. Yeah, somebody had to abandon this smear campaign one way or another. That's what I'm seeing here. Like, they spent a lot of time and energy telling people, painting a picture for people to see you in the worst, or paint someone. Let me not deflect this energy, because this ain't cool. Not no way, not no how is this cool. Even if it were true, which is definitely not, this is all lies right here, and a lot of them at that. So it could be, it's probably not even limited, which is why it was probably coming out as word vomit a little bit, as a plethora of things, but somebody maybe attacking every angle of your creativity, from what you do creatively, you know, your business, your potential, your dependability, and your health, your reputation, your you know, you as an intimate partner, you as a friend, you as a, who knows, a co-worker, a daughter, a business partner. Every which way they could make you look incompetent. That was someone's mission in life, or mission for a time at least. And they put their heart and soul into it. So what happened? Why did it happen? Let me see. Oh wait, first of all, the Hierophant, for the purposes of elevating themselves to some high level of moral and ethical standards. That's how they used you to step on your back, to make, like I said, that deflecting energy, to put everything that they probably are prone to do, or maybe even were doing, deflect that onto you, or deflect that onto someone or some others, or because it's given, like, you know, this could be like a preacher or a pastor or someone in some religious position of authority or influence, and it's given like a fake ass preacher that on Sunday they preaching it's like, and I say that quite loosely, because it's not a judgment against man, whom is just susceptible to the fault of humanity, okay, by their own by their own challenge of integrity. That's different, because a lot of times I feel that pastors and preachers have conditioned themselves, or been conditioned by social standards, to hold themselves to an authority that's not even attainable or sustainable. And there lies the vulnerability to a fall from grace. But I'm talking about somebody that knows good and damn well, like this be the preacher that's very anti homosexuality, or anti a certain taboo lifestyle or expression. But particularly since we're talking about this in the way that it's coming up, something sexual, or something, you know, something that really, you know, drives judgment home, you know, and that can be driven home when you're hiding under robes such as this. But in effect, it's the thing that they're actually doing. And somehow they either get exposed by it, or, you know, it becomes their pitfall in some way, shape, or form. Probably more so because they took the position to judge against it so loudly that it left them open, like I said, vulnerable to the backfire or the counterattack on the because of their lack of integrity. It's like, oh, so you want to be up here telling homosexuals they going to hell, meanwhile you on the stroll trying to pick up prostitutes. you know, because you don't want no, you can't do nothing with nobody you know, or even somebody that is messing with somebody in the church on the low, and you know, a lot of times they think people have something to lose, so that they can buy their allegiance, but most of the time, people being people aren't all that loyal to covert corruption in this regard. So anyway, that may or may not even be the story, but look, with the Hierophant here is giving me some taste of that, like somebody that could be hypocritical, or that has what do you call it, that gets off exalting themselves on the condemnation of others. That's what it's given. And it's somebody that, let's see, let's go back to the other side. What's before the Queen of Wands? Or just whatever. I don't know. Ooh, a little bit of a struggle here. Could be, I'm gonna put this here actually. Yeah, this is not good news. I'll tell you that. And it's struggle because it's good news for those that get to be liberated on account of, you know, this could be a message, like I said, somebody telling, you know, somebody giving up all the dirt, all the tape, maybe somebody's lover or whomever they was creeping with, or, you know, whatever the thing is here, because I don't want to pin it as that exclusively, but that's just one of the most controversial things that I can hear in my head. Certainly it probably can get nastier than that for sure, because the only thing truly nasty about it is the fact that somebody is fronting. You know, if that's what you into, that's what you into. But then when you prop somebody else as a casualty to that so-called crime, and exonerate yourself on their at their demise, that's crooked. That's crooked. Like, how do you even, there's so many, I never understood that with pastors, and it's not an uncommon case, but I never understood that with religious leaders, because it's like, just don't talk about that. You know, like nobody is expecting, you know, there's not necessarily an expectation for you to get up in the pulpit and, you know, condemn things that you know you are so-called guilty of. When we're speaking in religious terms, just don't talk about that. Why would you even set yourself up like that? And that kind of speaks to the arrogance of the position, and perhaps even the delusion of, I don't know, like the delusion of a man to feel like they could get away with that for very long. You know, like how long did you think you were going to play in God's face before he got the last laugh, or she, whomever it, got the last laugh, you know? But anyway, Page of Wands here is not good news. And let me get another one over here. Wait, let me see what's on the bottom. Oh, yes. I was just about to say, it seems like but it's exactly in the vein that I'm speaking of. Like I said, with the preacher that's being a hypocrite or deflecting their own self-shame and guilt, right? Eventually that energy is going to come back to haunt you, and you're going to have to reckon with it. So that's the energy here. It's like everything somebody invested their passion into, one way or another, is now a burden on their back. Is pressure on them to answer for it. So somebody is pressure out here in these streets, repaying the sabotage and betrayal that someone was dishing out unto them. And it seems like times 10 equally, it feels like it's coming back in a way that is far more aggressive and maybe even offensive, because this is Source. This is somebody that spread a whole bunch of lies. That's why. Because this is somebody that never really had receipts for what they were saying, but because of the position that they were in, or the credibility that people may have revered them to have, consider hearing something from a pastor, a man of the cloth, or a community leader, or somebody in a high position in a business, like a boss or a CEO, some established person within an organization. You hear it from them and you feel like, well, it should be a trustworthy source. Maybe not must be, but it should be. So their word had more impact than what any evidence could, because there was none. It was literally just stories. But here, the way that it's backfiring is that it's not just about words. Somebody has receipts, cold hard facts and evidence that make whatever is revealed undeniable. It's like it could be their word against mine, or my word against theirs, or hers or his, or whatever, particularly when it came to you or to someone in this Queen of Wands energy. You may not have even been aware of what, like I said, it was the Queen of Wands kind of a bit disconnected as to why there was so much energy to balance, so much imbalance behind the scenes underneath something that should have been easy going. She may not have known what was being said about her in the rumor mill, or what people were deflecting about her character or her actual health, to make her look like someone you would want to avoid. But somebody is not having that same experience. It's at a magnitude that could be matched, but it's coming in a different form because, well, maybe even simply because there is evidence. There wasn't any here, but there is something that somebody can say, look, this is the direct correlation here. This Page of Wands in reverse, and somebody that they don't mean well with what they're saying. And it also feels like they may or may not care to be covert in their expression. Or it could be a blackmail situation now, and I'm looking at it like this, where somebody is, that's the pressure. Ooh, that's the pressure. Because the message is coming through, but it's very direct to someone, and it's like, I got all this evidence that I'm going to release about who you've been and who we are to each other, or what you do. And it doesn't have to be exclusive to like anything taboo or anything like that. It could just be somebody in a compromising position that's contrary to the persona that they promote. Like it could be something as simple as the pastor just like the party, you know what I mean? Or has a lot of women or whatever. And it's like, but don't you be talking in the pulpit about, or, the senator, whatever. You get the gist. You get the gist. I don't have to keep going on that. But somebody got caught with their pants down. And maybe literally, but perhaps just figuratively. And it's coming from a source that can be credible on account of the evidence that they possess that would be vindictive enough to release it, unless somebody is putting the pressure on somebody, because if they can't answer the demands of someone in those conditions, it could be, it could be to their detriment, particularly to their character. And for someone in this position, they care a great deal about how they're perceived. Let me see what's here. this here. No, I'm gonna put this here. This did come out first. So I'm gonna put this here, and I don't know where this can go. Like here, maybe. Or I guess they could both go here. So yeah, here it is right here. Somebody that has an objective for their ambition. They want to win something, whether it is attention or, you know, somebody, like I said, answering to their demands. It could even be as primitive as like a scorn lover that may have felt discarded, and now they're going to get their revenge, their get back. It could be a disgruntled employee. You know, maybe somebody was having an affair with an employee, or somebody was doing something with someone or in the company of others that wouldn't be good for their image. And somebody knows that they hold all the cards to really tarnish that image in a devastating way. And, you know, now somebody is really facing a lot of pressure because it seems like the conditions are quite steep. Let's see what's under here. Yeah, they was, could be somebody, like I said, the pastor liked the party with with the 9 of Cups. Some incriminating evidence of them at a shindig or a function or And with that Hierophant, that gives secret society vibes. So it could be pastor by day, you know, like man of the cloth by day and man of, I don't know, like man of chaos by night, I don't know, but like somebody that's into some lower frequency type stuff, something that could really, really bruise their position of influence greatly, that they wouldn't want to be exposed because they experience a great deal of satisfaction in their covert identity that far outweighs the threat to their public persona. And it's like the two stand to be sabotaged in one swing of a sword, you know, of truth, because you won't be covert anymore when people know who you really are and what you're really into behind the scenes. And then you also won't be able to operate in the cloak anymore either, you know? So it's kind of like somebody being completely ousted. But they brought it on themselves because, like I said, just as primitive as I say, like somebody that you know, there's somebody that speaks against witchcraft, but they don't even realize that the power of the tongue to speak against others is like the most, you know, the most treacherous form of witchcraft that there is, to speak against someone, especially to speak lies about someone, things that are not true, or even to speak things that are true but that are intentionally an attack on someone else's character, on their livelihood, on their creativity, on their power. Like, yeah, it's given hypocrite, it's given somebody just living two very different lives, and now perhaps having to really face exposure for it, or having to walk away. That could be the thing also, that the threat alone of this is causing someone to actually have to like step down from their position. Like, it may be happening behind the scenes, but and there's a threat for it to be public, but the real detriment is, again, somebody's losing that position of affluence and influence, because the ultimatum may be that you need to step down or else, or somebody feels that they need to before they get exposed, because at least there might be, they might be able to save face a little bit having stepped down before all hell breaks loose, literally. But little do they know, with somebody with the Five of Swords, that's somebody that is wanting an enemy that wants to hold you by the balls. So you could answer to their demands, and they still extort you for more. You could pay the ransom or pay whatever the extortion price may be, and they still release the evidence. Like, that's the type of energy. You can't trust the Five of Swords. You can't. Either way, somebody still stands to be destroyed, really by their own sword in the end, because they literally would have given somebody the ammunition or the sword to use against them by way of their proactivity in treachery. If they would have kept their mouth closed on other people and kept their opinions out of things that they were, their condemning opinions against things that they were also, I hate to say guilty, because it's not my judgment. It's their own personal judgment against themselves, honestly. And that's the pitfall to begin with, even from a religious standpoint, is that incitement of judgment and condemnation is where it starts, to feel like you need to hide from God or hide from people or hide, the true nature of yourself, is what, here with the Four of Cups, is what keeps you from the unconditional love and grace that you get to exchange for your truest self, and to remedy whatever it is of you that you may not be quite proud of, or what brings you to a shameful fault that will put you in a position to deflect that energy in the first place. Somebody denied themselves the invitation for healing in that regard, and this is the result. I don't know the psyche of the man that does that, where it's like, I'm gonna condemn the things that I'm actually complicit in. What is that? What is that? Like, I don't know. It's strange. Oh man, that's way too many. I'm not taking that. That was the King of Swords on the top of it all. I don't know when that popped up, but there it is. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. CEO, head of the empire, Mr. President himself. Hopefully not, Jesus. But wouldn't be surprised now, would we? Yeah, having to step down, walk away, relinquish their authority, something. Wow. Death card, yeah, something. Ooh, something's coming to a hard stop. Somebody misused their power, and yeah, they misused or abused it. All right, I said I wasn't going to be long, but we see that I don't even need to, it's either bringing someone to an end or someone's reign to an end, like their authority or regime, so to speak, to an end. Definitely transforming it in some way, shape, or form, because even, sometimes the preachers that get caught out there, they don't necessarily like leave their church. Sometimes they are encouraged to stay and, continue to lead the people. It's up to that church and that establishment. But certainly, like I said, it's quite transformative because it can never be the way that it was, where you have this pristine image of you, where people revere you as like, holier than thou to some degree, or just revere you as someone of a high moral and ethical standard. It kind of depreciates your exaltation a bit, fortunately and unfortunately, but that's just how we people are. But also when you are in a man-ordained position, that's the kind of comes along with the territory. Like there's an expectation for you to live up to the standard that you set, and God forbid if you fall from that frequency, people will either have something to say, they'll have, an opinion, an objection, maybe even some point of action. But like I said, even if someone doesn't necessarily have to step down or walk away, their image is forever transformed at this point. At this point, he's going from the Hierophant to now the Emperor. Still both powerful figures, but I know there's a correlation here based off of what I'm saying, that the Hierophant is like the priest, the I don't know what they call the father, you know what I mean? Like the Pope, there it is, the Pope. The Emperor is maybe the local pastor, so like I said, depending on whose eyes we are subjectively seeing, what lens we're seeing from, both of them are reverenced in high regard, but maybe the range of power and influence is depreciated to some degree, because certainly the Pope, the almighty Pope, is not your local father at a parish either. There's ranks. So this could be somebody that may have been demoted within a secret society or some underground establishment of sorts. It may be like, like the warning shot, like, next your ass is grass. We going to demote you now. You'll still have some responsibilities. You'll still have some influence or power, or maybe not, but just the position at least. How that can be sometimes too, even in businesses where you have someone that is the CEO on paper, but really they don't have much operating power anymore. They're just in that like a figurehead, like a figurehead. So this could range a great deal, obviously, from something very intimate, general, professional, religious, spiritual, diabolical, political, social. It could range. It could range. But yeah, somebody's in there. It's like their first stop is to be like the figurehead of an organization, but they don't really have the signing power that they used to. Like they don't really truly, they don't have the authority to call shots in the same way. Like now somebody may have to like answer to a higher chain of command for authorization to do things that they used to be able to just say yay or nay to off the top without any supervision. Interesting. This is weird. Let me see. Where this led to is just strange. Wow. Oh, man. And you know what? This is also... and it definitely could be... It could be matriarch and patriarch prompted as well, now that I'm looking at it in this way, because especially when I'm talking about the health, it could be the masculine energy that waged war and in some ways attack on the feminine energy at her most confident and self-esteem position, like depreciating the value of her competency on a more universal, from a more universal perspective or general perspective. Like she's not competent for anything but to, be a happy homemaker and give her a little bit of, something to play with on the side, a little job here or there, a little responsibility outside of the home. But other than that, to be a world leader, to be a world force, not so much. But like I said, left to her own devices, she absolutely can and will and would have at a faster rate, except for the interferences and sabotage that left the feminine energy to manage much more with much less support, as in that Two of Pentacles, with the intentional influence of oppression from the masculine powers. That makes a lot of sense too. Like, nah, we ain't going to give you equal pay. No, we not going to affirm you as our better half or our worthy half of creation. We will use your energy in the way that we need to do what only you can do, but we're not going to give you the recognition or reward for it. It's like that type of vibe too. And then in terms of being unwell, as I'm seeing here with the Five of Pentacles, it could be as primitive as literally somebody speaking ill against your name. But like I said, it could also even speak to your manifestation, your creative competency. That's what I'm gonna say. Like it's somehow inferior to masculine proficiency, and to not only create that narrative, but to perpetuate it by way of a systematic support system, a systematic support that would uphold that reality. And that's the reason for the Two of Pentacles, like I said, unequal pay, unequal opportunities, more women having to kind of scratch and claw for more of what they should be due naturally compared to their male counterparts. When you have the whole, system as an operating force against your greatest achievement, that makes things much harder and almost, to some degree, almost makes you more prone to believe the illusion, to believe that narrative that, well, maybe I'm really not that great, or maybe I do need to just stay home. And nothing like, trust me, ain't nothing wrong with staying home. We all know that that job is a thankless one, and seriously. But you know what I mean in terms of women being able to balance and manage so much more than most times what we're given credit for, without concession, like yes, but compared to ... You know what I'm saying. But anyway, that was just another inflection on how to see it. But the Five of Pentacles is that somebody is walking away, and they're not walking away into a good situation. That energy is walking away to honestly now wear the shoes of those that they have disenfranchised in one way or another. So it may start with a demotion, but eventually it's like somebody's gradually being phased out to oblivion. Damn, that's crazy. What's on the bottom? Yeah, to nothing, to the Page of Pentacles. Like demoted down to like a child's place. Now this should be good news, but yeah, if we talking about business, it could be somebody that goes from having a great deal of stock in a company and now it's like somehow depreciated a great, like they lose some type of stock options or something. I'm seeing that. Maybe on account of their position demoting. And that in turn hits their livelihood a great deal because they're used to living a certain lifestyle. But it could also literally be someone now actually experiencing the poor health that they deflected onto someone else. The despair and disenfranchisement that they deflected upon some others. Now they get to experience it. Oh man, here I am still flipping cards. I was supposed to be done. And when I was shuffling today, like I was seeing a lot of things, a lot of like disparaging cards. I'm like, damn, what's about to go down? I said this weekend, but I don't know if it's this weekend, this week. Somebody may be facing some drastic changes this week that they may or may not even be, I don't know. Oh, what is that? Yeah, like they may not even be on guard for, or they may not be they may not have planned for, couldn't have planned for, because I don't think somebody ever expected to be condemned or chastised in a certain way. Like this could even be someone's own arrogance about the position that they think they still hold and the influence they still have, because they may have cut a side deal or averted one disaster, but there's something here where somebody is not able to truly plan for the range of change that they're about to incur, because they never would have thought themselves to be so vulnerable to such a drastic demotion or depreciation. They didn't even have a game plan in place for what? I'm the emperor, I'm the Hierophant, like I'm the boss, but it's given not realizing that the board actually has the power to overthrow you, as it is with certain corporations. When you're a publicly traded company, because of the vulnerability of the public scrutiny on the organization, that whatever this energy has drawn to it, whatever these deeds or acts have drawn to it, it's like maybe the issue or maybe it hasn't, but when I said public, that rang a certain bell to me, that because of the attention, the bad press maybe that somebody is drawing to a greater entity or principality, is why they ultimately, like they're trying to phase them out quietly, not to bring more attention, but ultimately it's like somebody gotta go. They gotta go. Yeah, they gotta go. Too many eyes or too many possibilities of it being a spectacle that would bring down the market value for the entire organization at this point. The stock price. I don't know why I keep saying that. Something about the stock price of an organization is at stake on account of what on account of their leaders' fault or incompetence or something. I don't know. But it's given like the personal affairs of someone is what has caused a threat to the professional production of something. And there lies the issue. If it wasn't affecting the bottom line, it may be able to continue to be swept under the rug, but because some cat is out the bag or there's a threat for it to be, and that, affects everybody's pockets, whomever everybody is, that's the main issue here. And I said something about one swing of the sword could kind of like chop somebody in the covert sense and then the overt sense, meaning their private persona and their public persona. Because it discredits them all around, and it challenges their competency to lead or manage two of pentacles. All right, a couple more and I'm done. Oh, okay. Yep, King of Swords. Challenging somebody's public persona who they prop themselves up to be. This is who they say they are. And it's also upright because somebody has the tapes on who they truly are. Exactly, with the Page of Swords. Could even be like a private investigator or something like that. Of some rival company. What is this? I don't know. I'm moving on. That may have targeted the downfall of an organization intentionally, or of a public figure, like they meant to cause the demise of someone, and it just so happens that it's hitting more than just them, and it's no matter, it's no consequence to whomever is the aggressor or the initiator of whatever this persecution may be, because for them it's personal, it's not business. Or maybe it is, maybe a business used a personal matter as an influence, or monopolized or manipulated that energy to deflect in a business matter. I don't know, something here. I don't know. But what the Queen of Wands got to do with it is the major question. Other than being a victim or just vulnerable to some level of treachery. That's in reverse. Well, strength in reverse. Yep. Well, that answers that question. Manipulating feminine energy in a very animalistic, perhaps even cruel way, creating victims of the feminine force, or of vulnerable people. That's what it could be. Maybe taking advantage of a little man, you know, for profit, but certainly creating casualties of vulnerable, delicate beings for the purposes of, for profit or for advancement in some way, shape, or form. And it perhaps was unknown as to how that was happening, or it was something, like I said, that could be swept under the rug until it couldn't be anymore. And now that, like, it's funny, first let me see what's on the bottom of this. Six of Cups. Yeah, some familiar, yeah, like really using, abusing trust is what I'm sensing from this. Like abusing that position of influence, because this could be like a kid regression, a childhood memory, or a childhood connection, you know, where people that you should have been able to trust, that you could feel yourself safe to be vulnerable with, were not trustworthy at all. And they actually manipulated that, I almost said molested. Oh my gosh. They manipulated that dynamic for their own personal satisfaction and gratification. And since I said molestation, or whatever I was about to say, molested, I was watching a clip today of the teacher, and also the Hierophant could be a teacher as well. Again, position of someone that you should be able to trust yourself with. And I was watching a clip of how this female teacher was recruiting troubled students at her high school and filtering them through more or less like a sex trafficking ring with her son. Now, how twisted is that? How twisted is that? Like literally grooming and luring kids into some sexual entrapment, setting up all the arrangements, and her son more or less was like, you know, the pimp or whatever. She was kind of the facilitator or the madam marketing the opportunity, more or less. But she would be the one setting up the hotel stays and the Johns and this and that. But yeah, underage, 14, what was the ages? 15, 16, and 17 were the three victims so far that have been accounted for. And she not only had it gone under the radar for a year after another teacher who had a daughter that was somehow, that was kind of like affected by it in some way. She went to the principal in detail, gave a statement as to what had occurred with her own child. They didn't fire the lady. They allowed her to stay on board for a long time. They didn't launch an investigation. The superintendents even knew. You know, I'm saying all this to say is that now what's coming out in the wash, literally a year later, something that happened in, I think they said February 2023, the teacher just now got arrested this in April of 2024, but she's been working in the school system still. She just was given the ultimatum when the cat was out the bag to either resign or be fired. But what she did is she resigned and then went to a whole nother district. So she still was working around children. But now the school board, the administrators of that school, and even the law enforcement in that town are under public scrutiny from parents and also from different activists and things, because they had the knowledge, they had the information, and they just kind of like swept it under the rug. Nobody did anything. So vulnerable children were pretty much discarded as, meaningless for what they had already incurred, as well as an absolution of responsibility for what more damage could be done in the future and what possibly and probably was. So now the whole system is called into question. It's putting a blemish on everybody. Everybody's being held accountable. So that kind of gives me that vibe there too. Like I said, the demotion or the ultimatum, like you're either going to leave or be whatever. So it could be something along those lines too. Ooh, and that's the Wheel of Fortune. Ugh. Well, that's that on that. Everybody's going to answer for their part. It's just only fair and just at this point. If you were the facilitator, if you were the initiator, the manager, the proprietor, the one that just knew about it and turned a blind eye, the co-conspirator, the corroborator, whatever role you played, trust me, some heads are going to roll as loud as those activists are talking. Somebody's going to answer for something. And for the paper trail of emails and signed statements that can be traced back to over a year ago. It's like people think that because time here at the Wheel of Fortune has gone by, that they are in the clear for things that happened a year, 2 years, 3 years, hell, decades ago at this point, at least 10 years, 12 years back. People are being held liable now for some of the things that they've been getting away with. And that's probably part of the surprise and the delusion of invincibility here. Like, who would ever think to prepare to bear the brunt of something that you got away with 10 times over for 10 years or more, but karma aims long, but it don't aim wrong. Karma aims long, but it don't aim wrong. It may take forever to reckon with your actions, but eventually you will. In this lifetime or the next, or even the generation to follow you, you'll be trying to figure out, damn, what the hell? Why am I dealing with all this bad luck? And it actually came out a little bit in the struggle, but it makes sense that it would be upright in this regard, no matter what, when it comes to the Wheel of Fortune, because you can't really turn the wheel upside down unless it's ordained to, like, it naturally is cyclical. So right side up, upside down, it's just everybody falling at exactly the place that they are justified to do so. And that's universally ordained. So ain't nobody can turn back or, somehow avert their karma forever, even though many have tried and even succeeded to delay it for a long time. But eventually that wheel turns right back around. Yeah, like I said, everybody that was engaged in collaboration and collusion, one way or another. Literally. Wow. There's that. They didn't even realize that they were working on their own demise ultimately. All the hard work and energy that was invested in every part of this operation, in many ways, in many shapes and forms, whatever, people have invested their energy into unproductively, but quite vigorously, as you see here, is what they will yield. No question about it. That's one thing that's for sure. Is the sowing, the reaping for the sowing. All right, I'm done with this. This kind of gave me a headache a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. After having such great messages over the past couple of days. But alas, unfortunately, still we have to deal with the polarities of life for yet a bit longer, until never anymore. Never more. All right. Thank you for listening. You just keep staying strong and staying in integrity out there. If anything, it's like a word to the wise, a word of caution as to how we operate in the highest of integrity. Just keeping it real out there. Like, you into something funny and you can't be proud of it, then you should keep your mouth shut about it until you either can be unapologetic, or definitely keep your mouth off of other people's. That's for off of other people in condemnation. But the best course of action, honestly, will always be to follow that trail of your own self-condemnation and where is the root of that growing from? Because it's only going to continue to grow weeds in your garden of life that will ultimately choke out everything that's good, and the weeds end up taking over. So if there's something about yourself that you can't be proud and unapologetic for, then figure out why that is. Why? Why do you feel like you got to hide that aspect of yourself? What guilt or shame does it evoke for you, and how can you heal from that, or find a place of understanding? Sometimes it's just a matter of reworking your conditioning, or reconditioning your mind as to certain limitations that you have assumed that may or may not be justifiable for you. Sometimes as a child, being taught that certain things were wrong or unrighteous or taboo or unhealthy or embarrassing and whatever, that you should be ashamed of yourself for certain things. But it's like, should you? Should you? If you're not hurting anybody and you're not taking anything away from anyone, and you're not lying to anyone to their own detriment, like living a double life, and presenting yourself to be one thing and you really are another, then why should you be ashamed? And if there's still shame and guilt there, then again, that's the opportunity for the deep dive to want to figure out why, and if this is something that I can release or be released from. Because it will never materialize into anything productive or prosperous. It'll always lead to some pitfall, in some regard, straight to hell itself, because usually as human beings that are stuck in that rut, we will find ourselves going to great lengths to protect that pride and ego. And a lot of times, not only is it a casualty to others that we feel may be a threat, we ultimately, like I said, are just turning that wheel of condemnation right back onto ourselves and all of the consequences that come along with it. And this is not even worth it, when you could just let that freak flag fly and deal with, you know, the confrontation of what that means for you and the identity attached to it between yourself, Supreme, and the source that you submit to or not. But human to human, the only thing that we're responsible for is just not causing harm to others. That's it. That's all. So anyway, yeah. Love yourself, because that's also the origin of denying self-love right here with this Four of Cups, of not accepting who you are gracefully and then deflecting that energy otherwise. But you get the point. You get the point. Thank you for listening and watching. Until next time, as always, I leave you with peace.